Hi, this is Kyle Gullings with Introduction to Music Production, Week 4, Dynamic Effects. Dynamic effects or dynamic processors include gates, compressors, limiters, and expanders. These dynamic processors are all rule-based gain controls. Their parameters are all pretty much the same, but their rules for how they treat those parameters are different. These are all types of nonlinear effects, which means that they react differently depending on the amplitude of the signal that's coming into them. Here you can see that I've got my Pro Tools session started, the same one I used last week. I've got my ukulele track and some synthesized instrument tracks for bass, guitar, and drums. Today I'll be focusing on my acoustic ukulele recording and what adding a compressor dynamic effect can do to that. As I said, these dynamic processors basically have the same types of parameters as each other, and here's an example of what one might look at. This is a compressor, and it includes the following functions: a volume fader that shows the level coming into the effect, and another showing the level going out, how it's being affected. This GR meter is a gain reduction meter, and it'll show you how many decibels are going to be reduced in real time with this signal. This graphical representation, this square in the center here, is called the transfer function. It is a graphical box that demonstrates on the horizontal axis the input amount, and on the vertical axis the output amount. And so as you can see, I've got some settings set down here, and they show that as the input gets higher, the output is going to start to become lower at this point. And then there's also a sidechain section that you can use to have the processor controlled by a signal on another track. I won't be covering that today. Some parameters that can be adjusted in this compressor, as well as other dynamic processors, include the threshold, which is right here. And as I adjust the threshold up or down, this is the point above which this particular dynamic processor will start to function and affect the signal. The ratio here is the other really important one. Currently I have it set at 3:0, and that's going to change the angle of the input-output transfer function there. And essentially what it's doing is changing what degree to which the original level will be changed when the processor kicks in. The attack here, measured usually in milliseconds, measures how fast the fader is going to be moved when the processor does turn on, and the release is the same thing, except it's going to be how fast the fader moves back to the original position when the processor is turned off. Lastly, there is the knee here, which if you turn this up, you can see that the rate of change is actually going to be smoothed out. It's going to change that from two straight lines intersecting to a bit more of a curve, and that's sometimes useful for smoothing out the amount of processing near the point of the threshold. Some of them also have a look ahead that imposes a delay on the signal, but not on the envelope. This allows the compressor to reduce the level ahead of time, even before a transient begins. Mine, I don't believe, has that, at least not that I can see. And lastly, there's a gain knob here that you can, if the compression makes the overall volume too quiet, you can turn it up with the gain here. Right now this compressor is on bypass, so I'll go ahead and play this without the compressor on, and then I'll turn it on partway through so you can hear what it does to my ukulele track. Taking those peaks, as you can see in the audio here, I've got a couple peaks like here and here that are really too loud because I'm not a great ukulele player, and it'll bring them more in line with the rest of the track. So again, I'll turn it on right now, and I'll hit bypass, turn off the bypass partway through so you can hear what the compressor is doing to the signal partway through. Let's take a listen. Let's take a listen just to the ukulele track. Here we go. Now with the compressor, so you can see that gain reduction meter going up every time the gain reduction is put into effect. Thanks, I really appreciate your time, and if you have any questions, please let me know.